I watched both fights. I watched Dustin Poirier, Conor McGregor in 2016. Obviously, you can just throw that one away. You're talking about two young guys. Both of them are completely different fighters now. So you can toss that one out. You look at the last one, Conor won that first round. Here's the thing, though. Conor's not, Dustin Poirier is a dog, man. He's a dog, and he's active, and he's currently the number one lightweight in the world. Definitely the best lightweight in the world. I know Charles Oliveira has the belt right now. We know who the real number one guy is, Dustin Poirier. But Dustin decided to pass on fighting Charles Oliveira to take the trilogy fight, the rubber match with Conor McGregor, for a number of reasons. Obviously, Conor McGregor's still the biggest name in the sport, still the most famous. What's crazy is you're going to make more money fighting Conor McGregor than you are fighting for a world title. Even if he became champion, he's going to make more money fighting Conor McGregor. That's one of the reasons he did it. It's also going to get more eyeballs. It checks every box on why Dustin Poirier passed on fighting for a title to fight Conor McGregor. If you look at their last fight, which was January 2021?
The last fight was 21, yeah.
Yeah, January 2021. So it was in Dubai. Nobody's there, right? And I think that actually hurts Conor more than it hurts anybody else. I think there's a few guys who need a crowd to perform. They need a crowd to really live up to their full potential. Conor McGregor is one of those guys. That being said, going into that fight, I've heard from a number of people, experts that were around Conor at that time. If you look at his corner, even then you look at his kind of entourage that he usually travels with, when he was in, and this isn't taking anything from Dustin Poirier, it's just me laying out some facts for you. If you're a Conor McGregor fan, this might sway you to betting on him, which is what I'm going to try and do right now. So Conor McGregor, going into that fight, his entourage was different, meaning so it was heavy boxing emphasis. Like he was getting ready. There was rumblings of him fighting Manny Pacquiao. They were close to doing that fight. And so his whole, and that was, before the Dustin Poirier fight was announced. So, he's not that active. He knows he can make a huge payday fighting Manny Pacquiao. So he's very focused on boxing. His camp's focused on boxing. He's doing all his training focused on boxing. Then he gets Dustin Poirier. So he has a regular training camp to get ready for that fight. There's no fans in attendance, which hurts him more than almost any fighter on the card. So going to that fight, you look at Conor McGregor, the first round I had him winning 10-9. Didn't look terrible, but definitely not the Conor McGregor we're used to. And then after the first round, he kind of fell apart, right? So, it just wasn't a Conor that we used to see, I think, due to inactivity, due to the focus on boxing. And I think the number one reason why he lost that second fight with Dustin Poirier is he overlooked Dustin Poirier. Didn't think Dustin Poirier, I don't think you respect him enough. I think Dustin Poirier has changed significantly. I think he's changed even more than Conor McGregor coming in this second fight. I think Dustin Poirier's bar none, top two 155ers walking the planet. And Conor McGregor didn't think so and thought he could go, all right, I know I'm focused on boxing. I'll come in with this boxing stance. I'll still knock this kid out. Landed a few lefts and definitely wobbled Dustin in that first round. And then after Dustin didn't go down, it was Dustin's round. So going into this third fight, being a Conor nut hugger than I am, and looking over Conor's career, when has Conor lost and then came back, fully redeemed himself, and looked better? Nate Diaz. The Nate Diaz fight. If you have the first Nate Diaz fight, obviously Nate Diaz, bigger guy, Conor ended up getting choked out on that fight. But, he didn't look his best in that fight. And I think he looked at what Nate Diaz did well, what didn't work, and made adjustments, and then ended up beating him in the rematch, right? So when I look at this fight, you're going to sit here and tell me that Conor McGregor can't make changes? You're going to sit here and tell me that you don't have any zippy doos, zang doos? That's from Joe Dirt. Anyways, you're going to sit here and tell me that you don't think Conor McGregor has the tools to adapt to calf kicks? Come on, man. Come on. The X factor here is Dustin Poirier knows that those calf kicks were the game changer in that fight, and that's what eventually ended up Conor getting knocked out due to the leg kicks. He was immobile and ended up, eating some punches. So Dustin Poirier knows that's what Conor's focusing. So to me, the big X factor here is what is Dustin Poirier going to do in this trilogy fight to mix it up? The calf kicks are going to be there, and he's going to throw some, but he knows Conor's focused on that. But I think, you're going to see a different Conor. He's not going to be so heavy on his front foot. He's going to be more elusive. He's going to have more. If you watch their first fight, which is, I guess, if you want to take anything from it, the first fight, Conor is almost in that karate taekwondo stance. Very mobile. He's moving, switching it up, unpredictable. This last time they fought in January 2021 in Dubai, Conor is very stationary. The movement was not there. He still landed some punches, man. So, I do think Conor's going to make it a world of difference as far as changes go. I think his movement's going to be better. I think he's going to be more tuned into the fight. You're never going to get the old Conor. That old Conor who is foaming at the mouth, doing these crazy antics, couldn't wait to get in there. I don't think we're ever going to get that. You don't have however much he has, let's say $400 million in the bank, and still do those antics. You're not getting vintage Conor. But even a Conor who's more mature, who's more focused, is a dangerous Conor. I think you're going to get a more focused, a more dangerous, a more elusive, a more dynamic Conor McGregor coming in this fight. And the big X factor is, what is Dustin Poirier going to do when it's not that stationary Conor McGregor? So for some reason, and obviously Vegas agrees, I think it's even money line. I looked this morning, it was the money line's even on DraftKings. Let me see what it is right now, Chin. Minus 130 plus 108.
McGregor's plus 108.
I bet you that changes before the fight. I mean, minus 130 plus 108, damn near even, but still, I think you're going to see the money line tailor over to Conor McGregor. Now, this isn't taking anything away from Dustin Poirier. I'm still going to bet $1,000 on Conor McGregor because I ride his nuts and I love his story. I love what he represents. I'll bet $1,000 with Theo Vaughn because nobody jacks off Dustin Poirier harder than Theo Vaughn, and they're best friends apparently. So, I'm willing to lose another $1,000 on Conor McGregor, but I just, I look at this fight and I think you're going to get a different version of Conor McGregor. I think Conor realizes what's on the line because if Conor loses this one, where do we go? The story of Conor McGregor. Also, is he one of the best lightweights in the world? He's 5 number now. He's ranked number 5 right now. If he loses this, he's definitely going to drop out of the top 5. So you can't call yourself one of the best lightweights in the world anymore. So what's left for him? That Nate Diaz trilogy's never going away. We're going to get that at some point before we all die. So there's that. But outside that, I mean, maybe Tony Ferguson, another older head who's on his way out. I would love a Max Holloway thing there. I just, if Conor were to lose this one, he's kind of in no man's land there. And he can still do boxing, but is it going to be as impressive coming off these losses, not being as inactive? Are we still going to pay whatever the pay-per-view price is to see him fight Manny Pacquiao after we've seen him, let's say Dustin Poirier knocks him out against the same result? Is that kind of fairy dust, that Irish fairy dust gone from this? So there's a lot of pressure on Conor McGregor, not so much on Dustin Poirier. There's a lot of pressure on Conor because, if you were to win this fight, well, then you're fighting Charles Oliveira, who I think he matches up brilliantly with. I think he matches up better with Charles Oliveira than he does Dustin Poirier. So if you can get by Dustin Poirier and get a fight with Charles Oliveira, well, fuck, dude. We're going Irish Sizzler, man. You know what I'm saying? It's fucking beans and mash. I think they eat that in Ireland. That's definitely an English thing. You know what I'm talking about. So I just think you're getting a different Conor. That's the way I'm going to sum this whole long rant up. You're going to get a different Conor McGregor. I would bet my bottom dollar you're getting a better version of Conor McGregor. He's also separated himself from the kids. That fight in Dubai, he had his family around him. He was in Gucci pajamas all the time, living on a yacht, his family. He was super respectful. You're going to know what kind of tone Conor's coming into this fight off the press conference. Nobody does a better press conference. When it's vintage Conor, nobody does a better press conference than Conor McGregor. I think the press conference I think it's Wednesday. So let's see what kind of mind frame Conor McGregor's in. If it's still humble, super respectful Conor McGregor, it probably put your money on Dustin Poirier. If it's full of fucking piss and vinegar Conor McGregor, put your money on Conor McGregor. That's how I do that thing. Let's say here when it is.
Even Gary said Thursday.
Is it Thursday?
Yeah.
So Thursday, you're going to learn a lot about who you should bet on. Again, if it's kind of super respectful and humble and, we'll see what happens in there and Dustin's a great champion. No. But put your money on Dustin Poirier. But if he's a little bit of shit talker, tries to sell this thing, gives him a little shove, put your money on Conor McGregor. That's how I'd bet that thing. I can't wait, man. I cannot wait for a Conor McGregor fight.